Oh, what a tale we have here. The story of Adonis has got a bit of everything. Beauty that'll make your eyes water. Love that'll set your heart aflutter. And death that'll give you the shivers. Adonis wasn't just a pretty face, mind you. He was the very embodiment of beauty itself. The kind of beauty that makes gods and mortals weak at the knees. But beauty, as they say, is a curse as much as a blessing. And poor Adonis found that out the hard way. His tale is a roller coaster of emotions. One minute you're up, the next you're down. It's all about the fleeting nature of beauty and the power of love. And let's not forget about death. It's always lurking around the corner, isn't it? Now let's talk about how Adonis came into the world. It's not a pretty story, I'm afraid. In fact, it's downright disturbing. But that's Greek mythology for you. It's never afraid to go to some dark places. Our tale begins with a young woman named Myrrha. She was the daughter of King Cinyras of Cyprus. Poor Myrrha, you see, was cursed by Aphrodite. The goddess of love made her fall in love with her own father. Nasty business, that. Myrrha was horrified by her feelings, of course. She tried to fight them, but the power of Aphrodite's curse was too strong. In the end, she tricked her father into sleeping with her. She disguised herself and snuck into his bed at night. When King Cinyras found out what had happened, he was furious. He chased after Myrrha with a sword, intent on killing her. But the gods took pity on her. They transformed her into a myrrh tree. Now let's fast forward a bit. Adonis has grown up, and what a sight he is to behold. He's so beautiful that he catches the eye of Aphrodite herself. Yes, the very goddess who cursed his mother. Ironic, isn't it? But that's love for you. It doesn't care about the past. It just strikes where it will. And it struck Aphrodite hard. Aphrodite was smitten. Head over heels she was. She'd never seen a mortal so beautiful. She decided she had to have him for herself. But there was a problem. Aphrodite wasn't the only one who'd noticed Adonis. Persephone, the queen of the underworld, had spotted him too, and she wanted him just as much as Aphrodite did. So we've got ourselves a good old-fashioned love triangle. Again, Adonis wasn't just a pretty face. He had passions of his own, and his greatest passion was hunting. He loved nothing more than chasing after wild beasts through the forest. The thrill of the hunt set his blood pumping. It made him feel alive. But Aphrodite worried about him. She knew how dangerous hunting could be. According to the myth, she even warned him, begged him to be careful, especially around the beasts. She warned him to stick to rabbits and deer. Leave the dangerous animals alone. But Adonis was young and full of himself. He thought he was invincible and didn't listen to Aphrodite's warnings. He thought he could handle anything the forest threw at him. And then came the fateful day. Adonis was out hunting as usual. He came across a wild boar. Now boars are nasty creatures, all tusks and temper, but Adonis wasn't afraid. Unfortunately, the boar came out the victor. Aphrodite saw it happen and quickly went to his aid. As Adonis lay dying in Aphrodite's arms, something magical happened. His blood, spilling onto the ground, began to change. Where it touched the earth, flowers began to bloom. Not just any flowers, mind you. Anemones. Beautiful, delicate things. Red as the blood they sprang from. It was as if the earth itself couldn't bear to let Adonis's beauty die completely. Now this isn't just a pretty image, it's packed with symbolism. The anemones represent Adonis's beauty living on after his death. They're a symbol of his immortality, because while Adonis the man may have died, his essence lives on in these flowers. Every spring when the anemones bloom, it's like Adonis is being reborn. The anemones are also associated with the idea of fragility and brevity of life. They're short-lived flowers, you see. They bloom quickly and fade just as fast. Now, you might think that's the end of our story. But the Greeks weren't done with Adonis yet. You see, Aphrodite and Persephone were still fighting over him. Even in death, they both wanted him for themselves. It got so bad that Zeus himself had to step in, and he came up with a compromise. A sort of timeshare arrangement, if you will. Here's how it worked. Adonis would spend part of the year with Aphrodite in the world of the living, and part of the year with Persephone in the underworld. It was a neat solution. Both goddesses got what they wanted. And Adonis? Well, he got to experience both life and death. Not a bad deal for a mortal, all things considered. But this arrangement is more than just a way to keep two squabbling goddesses happy. It's rich with symbolism. Adonis's time with Aphrodite represents spring and summer, life, growth, and fertility. His time with Persephone represents autumn and winter. That, my friends, is the Greek myth of Adonis, whose beauty, even in death, changed the world with new flowers and the creation of the seasons. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. Please like and subscribe. Until next time.